Alright folks, we're back at it again. Going across a bridge on a new trail. This is one of my earlier videos. I rode from my house to Prickett's Fort. It was a two-part video, one of my first ones. I stopped by a river, the Monongahela River, or Monongahela River, and talked for a few minutes. This is kind of a continuation of that trail. I forget the name of this trail. If we come to a sign, I'll stop and look at it. But this kind of starts at Prickett's Fort and heads all the way up into Morgantown. I'm on the outskirts of Morgantown right now, heading south back toward Fairmont. So I've never been on this section of trail before, but we'll take a ride out through here and see what we come across. So far it's been paved. I think it turns into a crushed gravel up here pretty soon though, and we'll see what happens. Yeah, it looks like we did go on the gravel. So, and this, if you can see, kind of runs along the Monongahela River, or the Monongahela River, I believe. I don't know. Even people up here have trouble with the name from time to time. So, anyway, we're going to ride down through here. It's always kind of exciting to get out on a new trail and explore. Now, the interesting thing about this trip is we're due for some rain in a couple hours. Looks like it's been coming up from the Gulf of Mexico and heading our direction. And it's supposed to be here around 4 o'clock, and it's a little bit after 1 in the afternoon. So, but it looks like it's on the radar. It looks like it's a little closer. So, hopefully we won't get stuck in a downpour. But if we do, I guess we will see how the waterproofness of this camera works. So while we pass these folks, I'll put you on pause for a minute and I'll be right back. All right. This is going to looks like it's going to turn into be a very scenic trail. Whoop. Hit the wrong thing. Trying to get up in 7th gear. As I said, we may be looking for some rain coming toward us, so I'm going to try to get through this trail a little bit faster than what I normally ride. But we'll see. We'll mix it up a little bit. Seems to be quite a few more people out on the trail today as opposed to the last few that I've been out on. It's a little chilly again today. Probably in the high mid 60s, I'm going to say. Yeah, probably mid 60s. It's a little breezy, but actually it makes it kind of good for outdoor exercise. It kind of keeps you cooled off a bit. I don't know if you can see the bridge right through the trees up there. That's I-79 going north to Pittsburgh. Coming up on another bridge here. Again, this is totally new area for me. Let's look at this. Let's look at this map real quick. So I see something interesting right off the bat. It says this trail has been inducted to the Rail Trail Hall of Fame. Interesting. So this is a map of the trail. Hopefully you can see it, but I started somewhere around in here, and I'm going to be going all the way down to at least Opekiska and possibly back to Prickett State Fort. That's where I ended one of my other old videos. Looks like they've got some kayaking stuff down here. It's pretty interesting. I have no clue how you get to this spot. Well, I've got a clue, but never been down here before. So let's get back on the trail and proceed. Spruce Marina, private property. I was going to ride down in there. It almost looks like there's some people down there. So we'll just leave that alone for now. And continue. Now this trail is actually about 20 or 21 miles. The path that I'm taking right now, down to my end point. So to beat the rain and do it in a little quicker time, I think I'm going to be using a lot more pedal assist today. I am helping it out quite a bit, but with the pedal assist on, it'll keep me from dropping down below 10 miles an hour or so. And I may even kick it up on 3 every now and then. And some more folks. How are you? Just a lot of nice people in West Virginia. Most times, anyway. I told you in another video how I like to kind of put my seat down a little bit, have my handlebars up. Kind of makes for an easier sitting position. Kind of a more straight up and down. So I'm not having to put weight on my arms. The one bad thing about that is you don't get full leg extension, and it doesn't take long for your legs to really start burning whenever you're pedaling a bike this weight, and as well as the rider's weight. So it does tire your legs out a little quicker, and I may actually raise my seat a bit. See how that does for me. But anyway, I got about 3.5 miles. Another 16 or 17 more to go. And again, like I said, this will be a little bit better of a range test on the battery, because I'm planning on using pedal assist a lot. And most of my other videos I used a lot of human power with no assist, just to get some more exercise. Now I am helping this pedal assist along pretty good, but whenever I've got it on 3, it's a lot more, the bike's doing a lot more of the work than what I am, I think. We got a nice little shelter. We'll have to remember where these are in case it starts to rain. There's something pretty cool. I've passed 1 or 2 of these places on the way, but there were a lot of people standing there and I didn't want to film over them. I don't know if you can tell, but there's a couple little waterfalls way up at the top, and then it comes down, and it comes down this rock, comes over to the trail, and goes in through this pipe they have right on over into the river down that way. Pretty cool. I've passed a couple of these when I had you on pause. I figured I'd come across some more, because when you're going through the back country here, you tend to come across a lot of these springs that just pour right out of the mountain. Probably been some moonshiners back in here back in the old days, whenever nobody was coming around down through here. But anyway, we'll get back on and take off. Again, I like to use the throttle to get started. Makes it pretty easy. And away we go. I've also passed a couple kind of caves, maybe overhangs, large overhangs of the rock. Kind of look like caves. If I run across any more, I'll stop. How are you? All right, it looks like we have a real long curve. I'm going to put you on pause just to save battery a little bit, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I'm looking around. I just about started swerving. So, for all of you city slickers out there, we are out in the middle of nowhere. Now, I grew up from, I don't know, elementary school, being out in the woods, hunting, fishing, and have done it all my life. So I feel fairly comfortable out in the wilderness like this. And with bikes, every now and then, you will be passed by somebody. He looked pretty determined. So, but anyway, you're out here, middle of nowhere. Maybe at some point, being out here by myself, maybe we'll get Bigfoot to run across the path or something. Or something crazy, who knows. But anyway, we're motoring along. Back to pedal assist 2. I wanted to go a little bit slower so I could see up in the woods. I like to look around and make sure, see what's up there around. I don't like to be surprised, so I'm kind of training my eyes up in the woods here and there. Now, we're actually crossing our first lock and dam, going south out of Morgantown. If you can kind of see it through the trees there. Now, a few years ago, they used to open these and close these for recreational boaters. But I heard a couple years ago they were defunding it, or cutting their funding, and they were mainly just going to open and close them for commercial boats. So I don't know if that's still the case. Used to be you could boat from Fairmont all the way up to Morgantown, but there's about, I think, 3 dams that you have to pass. And if it's still the case that they closed it for recreational purposes, I guess you can't do that anymore. So, kind of hear the water, I think, a little bit. Anyway, we'll keep on going. All right, we're still at it. We're about almost 7 miles into our trip. See, there's some houses across the river. Not sure how to get over there, but anyway, we've got this big rock wall beside us on the left-hand side of us. I guess where they cut into the mountain to lay these tracks when they originally put them down. I tell you what, when you're out by yourself in the woods like this mirror is really nice. you can kind of keep a lookout on your 6, see if anything's coming up behind you. Because like I said, being out by yourself like this can be a little creepy sometimes. They also passed a law in West Virginia. I think it became a law the summer of, I'm thinking 2019, that as long as you're a resident of this state, you do not have to have any kind of license to carry a pistol, concealed, unconcealed, whatever, with you. And that's for anyone, I'm assuming it's 21 and up. I believe it's 21 and up. So just keep in mind, when you're out here in the back country, chances are a lot of these folks are probably carrying. And maybe I should be too, in case I come across a bear or some whack job or something. But I don't do that really. Got a couple of, a goose and her babies. Now goose can be really, really mean when their babies are around. Let's see. Okay. Alright, they were okay because I was on a bike. I've been walking by goose and got chased. I mean, they go crazy. I saw a video on YouTube not too long ago where I don't know if it was a hawk or what it was, came down and dove down into the water and landed on a mother goose's baby. That goose went absolutely ballistic. Jumped on top of that hawk and held it under the water until that hawk quit breathing. Killed that hawk. It swam away and the hawk was left there floating. So those geese do not play when their babies are around, much like most other wild animals. But yeah, they're a little wild, man. There's some folks up here on the trail. Let's see what happens up here. Nice little area. Fishing area. Hello. But here we go. They're probably wishing they had an electric bike about now. Got some camps over there. Looks like some docks down here. It's always interesting going on a new trail. You gotta make sure you don't nail yourself on those things. It's always interesting going out on a new trail that you've never been on before. You just never know what you're going to run into, what you'll find. So I'm going to pause you while I pass this guy. I'll be right back again. Okay guys, I ran across something a little bit interesting here. I'm thinking about maybe checking it out. I don't know if you can see, but right up there, I'm pretty sure that was an old mine entrance. And it looks like they have blocked it up so people can't get in. And then right here almost looks like a support. Might have been an old bridge that carried coal out of the mountain and then over across the river there onto a major road. Let's see. And then up here I can see a bunch of metal, a cave, and you never know what you'll find in those things. It's definitely a cave with some sort of metal roof support right there at the entrance. Fairly interesting stuff. So this would have been more than likely tunnels, you know, caves made, tunnels made for mining back in this mountain. So I wanted to turn it on so you could see that. Run across a lot of those around here. Remember to put up my kickstand. And away we go. Oh yeah. And I bet you that bridge came right here. Right in here. Little dock right here probably loaded up the barges that went up and down the Mon River. The water looks pretty deep, very slow moving, so I'd say it's fairly deep right here. But yeah, I came across the entrance of a coal mine on this trail. So we will continue on, see what else we see. Pretty interesting stuff. By the way, the bugs are out again today. Not quite as bad, but I do have glasses on, so it is a huge help. Yeah, I look pretty intense as well. Yep, look here. Right there. I don't know if you can see it with this camera angle or not, but looks like a little bit of, I thought it was just a cave, but it's actually vents where they vented the coal mine. Just right over here. And they'll have different places there where they'll vent the mine. My dad actually taught ventilation, mine ventilation, at the Mine Academy in Beckley, West Virginia, back in the day, from about 71 or something when they opened. And he taught mine inspectors and taught ventilation. So, you know, he could probably tell us all about that if he was here with us. But maybe we'll talk him into getting one of these bikes and coming out sometime. This is pretty much a crushed gravel, but it's really smooth. It almost feels like asphalt. It's not bumpy at all. It's a pretty decent ride. Got some guys out here on a pontoon boat fishing. Looks like fun across this bridge here. Trying to Another big thing here in West Virginia is, I'm sure everybody's heard of it, but ginseng. A little green plant, almost looks like poison ivy. It's kind of a 5-leaf leafy plant with the stem, comes up into 5 leaves. Right in the center of it, about this time of year, I think, there'll be little red berries right in the center of those 5 leaves, and that's ginseng. That's the, you dig those up and use the root to make medicines and just all kinds of things with it. I know a couple years back, well, my point for telling you that is these mountains are really good for it. The shady side of the mountain is where it usually grows, and because we have all of these hollows and valleys, there's a lot of places that stay shady. They like to grow around rotten trees, decomposing type natural material. So that's what you look for, shady side of a mountain, decomposing trees, leaves, whatever. And that's where you'll normally find it. But a couple of 2, 3, 4 years ago, they had a TV show on called, I think it was called Mountain Outlaws. And it talked about the ginseng industry in West Virginia and how serious everybody was. It was, people would try to get into the patch of other people that kind of claimed that patch, and they would have, I don't know, fights and all kinds of shootouts over this stuff. But a couple years ago, the roots sold for about $100 a pound, and people were making, you know, enough money in a few weeks to last them for the rest of the year hunting ginseng. My stepbrother and I used to go up in the mountains and stuff when we were younger and look for it, and we came across a big patch. Almost looked like somebody planted it. Got back to my grandma's house, and turns out someone had. That someone was my uncle. So he wasn't super happy that we had dug up his ginseng that he was waiting for. You want to let them mature, because the bigger root, of course, the bigger pay you get from it. And it's not just 100 pounds wet, dug out of the ground. You have to let it dry. So when it dries, it does lose a lot of its weight when that water goes out. But I don't know, about a shoebox full of dry can be about a pound. So you know, if you know where it is, it's a pretty good business to be in. But you find it growing all through these hills. So a lot of natural resources here in this state.